is NDTV and you are watching NDTV Prime.
Welcome to CNB Bazaar Buzz. Thank you for joining us. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. As always, it's quite the lineup today too, and we'll start off by first showing you just what is coming your way over the next half hour. The latest AMG in India from Mercedes. This is the GLC 43. We have the review of the Indian Chieftain Darkhorse and the second round of the Indian National Rally Championship. Now, it was a few months ago on CNB that we showed you the coupe version of the GLC SUV from Mercedes-Benz. The whole idea here is to get a little bit more streamlined in shape and cash in on the kind of popularity now that most of these cars seem to be catching on with the world over. Now, here in India, things still stay pretty limited. We have the GLE coupe, we have the BMW X6, but things have stayed with just those two models, and so now the GLC coupe finally drives in. But there's a little bit of a catch. It's going to stay limited. It's only the AMG.
The stylish C-Class based Mercedes-Benz GLC SUV was launched in India recently. Its coupe version caught our attention when we drove it in Italy in August last year. And at the time, Mercedes-Benz promised to bring us more than one variant. But alas, we are only getting the AMG. It's the third AMG model to be launched this year in India and the fourth in the 43 series. Well, undoubtedly, it's, well, the GLC Coupe SUV. And you can make that out because it has that sloping roof at the back which gives it that coupe kind of stance. In fact, this is based on the GLC SUV but has prominent changes because it's 80 millimeters longer than the SUV and 40 millimeters shorter than it. Apart from that, other changes include this chrome-tipped diamond radiator grille, the two air intakes up front, and the chrome that you see all over the place. Obviously, the massive muscular stance that this one gets is thanks to those 19-inch alloy wheels. Apart from all of this, what has changed inside is its heart. It has a 3-liter V6 tuned by AMG, of course, to give it a massive amount of power and a massive amount of torque. And we are going to sample it today. The GLC Coupe looks decidedly sportier than the standard GLC SUV. It gets the narrow horizontally oriented split tail lights, a sharp spoiler lip and chrome-tipped 4-pipe exhausts. Should you need any more evidence of it being an AMG, well, there are badges all around. AMG lettering on the front grille and boot lid, AMG badged wheel center hubs and bi-turbo 4MATIC lettering on its flanks. Inside, it's typically a Mercedes as the fit and finish is top-notch, and you find yourself in familiar territory when you see the gear selector, the seat-shaped electronic seat adjuster, and even the infotainment system. There's space for 5 individuals inside the car, but not so much for their luggage. The sloping roofline eats into the boot space. But what worsens this is that the space-saver spare sits on the high floor, making it a choice between weekend bags or the wheel. Having said that, it's a lovely cabin which gets a big dose of sportiness. Being an AMG, this one gets the AMG sporty kind of treatment on the inside too, which is why you have an all black interior with red stitching basically all over the place. So there's red stitching on the dashboard, the steering wheel, the center console, and you have these red seat belts, which look pretty cool, don't they? Apart from that, the party piece is a 3-liter V6 engine under there, which has been tuned by AMG to churn out 362 brake horsepower and is 520 Newton meters of torque on offer. 0 to 100 is done in 4.9 seconds, which is actually the same as the GLE Coupe. Who'd thought that one? And 250 is where it tops out, but that is also electronically limited. The suspension, however, is on the firmer side, which you would expect from an AMG. But well, you don't really enjoy it when it goes through a pothole because it gets rumbly and there's a bit of a jerk. There you go. That's the kind of jerk that actually hits you, and you don't enjoy that one bit. But after all that is done and you hit an expressway, say, you just downshift and hear that exhaust note crack and pop. The car feels quick and sounds so too. Even in comfort mode, there is a hint of rumble and murmur, and the Sport and Sport Plus modes bring these gloriously to the forefront. It's no V8, but the soundtrack is exciting enough. The 9-speed automatic transmission channels the power to all four wheels, and the GLC Coupe 43 gets an AMG specific power distribution that puts a larger percentage of power towards the rear. It's a fun thing to drive, and though there's a hint of understeer, you're still having fun behind the wheel, and that's mission accomplished. As far as rivals are concerned, the GLC Coupe doesn't really have any, considering we don't have the BMW X4 in India. But the price tag of over 74 lakh rupees puts it in the same bracket as the Porsche Macan, which frankly doesn't have as much power as the AMG GLC. There's little to fault in the AMG GLC Coupe, and that's probably why it's a good idea to buy one. But the regular GLC Coupe could also do well in India if it were to be assembled locally and launched at a competitive price. Sadly though, Mercedes-Benz won't bring it here as sales numbers might not be as big as the SUV.
So from one powerful beast, we move on to another one, except this one is on two wheels. It's our second review on the show, the Indian Darkhorse. Now this is the Chieftain bike, but with a little bit of its dark side coming through. What am I talking about? Preetham Bora has the details.
The Indian Chieftain Darkhorse is a massive bagger with loads of road presence and is a proper head turner. And what does it offer? We spent some time with the Chieftain Darkhorse. It's big. No, let me correct that. It's massive. This gigantic piece of black metal on two wheels is called the Indian Chieftain Darkhorse, and it's a name which promises a lot of character and stamina, quite like a thoroughbred black stallion. And yes, it has the power and personality to make heads turn and attract crowds of admirers.
One thing's for sure, this bike's got tremendous road presence. People, just stare at it. They crowd around it. And what I like most about is the engine. The 1800cc Thunderstroke V-twin is shared in the Indian Chief and the Indian Chieftain range. It's got oodles of torque. Very nice, very smooth and refined mill.
Technically, the only thing new on the Chieftain Darkhorse is the blacked out look, with the same engine and mechanicals as the Indian Chieftain. It's got what's called the typical Indian balanced fenders, the same Indian war bonnet taking pride of place on the front fender. The only chrome strips are on the exhaust mufflers and a strip along the front fender. The panniers can accommodate 24 kilos of luggage in its remote lockable saddlebags. And it offers everything from keyless ignition, standard ABS, cruise control, and even a tire pressure monitoring system. And then there's a push-button adjustable windscreen, which is quite helpful when you're cruising down a highway. The 1800cc V-twin engine pulls a reassuring rumble. It's an air-cooled engine. There's no vibration, no protest, and a long open road is just what the Chieftain Darkhorse is made for. There's cruise control for long hours in the saddle, and the 100-watt fairing mounted stereo system is loud enough for you to listen to your favorite music on the move. The Chieftain Darkhorse's size may be overwhelming at first, but despite its massive size and over 400 kilos of weight, it's surprisingly easy to ride once you're on the move. Around a long sweeping corner, the bike remains planted and composed, and the ride quality is plush. As an all-American cruiser, the Indian Chieftain Darkhorse has all these qualities: smooth, refined performance, admirable highway manners, and road presence. And of course, it's a cruiser which makes a strong statement and turns heads everywhere. The only thing left then is your budget.
So if you're in the market for a cruiser, you've got about 30 lakhs to spare. I think you should seriously look at the Indian Chieftain Darkhorse.
Let's slip into a short break here. We come back with more. Keep watching CNB Bazaar Buzz.